Welcome into our conversation on the world of video and video production. We are grateful to have the team at Jpixx from Virginia Beach, Virginia, joining us for the conversation and all together. So we'll have a great conversation and we're going to learn about different facets of the world in which they work and how all the roles intersect and how they make awesome video projects come to life. And so I'll start with the man in the middle, the owner of the business, John Abrahams. John, tell us about Jpixx and about your career, and then we'll talk with your teammates.
Cool. Thank you, Danny. Well, I am John Abrahams. I am a photojournalist major from the University of Missouri in Columbia. Also did film studies and an art minor. And coming out of college, I knew I wanted to take photos. I knew I loved doing video. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But I ended up moving with my then girlfriend, now wife, Tevia, to Toronto. Where I got to dabble in independent film, got to dabble in design, and I just did everything I could. It was a very artsy, cultural city. And then it got really cold and it got really old, just running around not having citizenship and work permits and that kind of thing. So we moved down to the United States, chose Virginia Beach. I immediately got with an ad agency on the ocean front. I was there for almost 10 years. And that's where I really learned that you could take the skills of video and storytelling and photography and use them in a more lucrative way. I mean, journalists were not making a lot of money, photographers are not making a lot of money, artists are not making a lot of money. But if you could really fine tune your craft and monetize that, then that can be extremely valuable. So learned a lot during those 10 years. I developed our own in-house photo and video department at that ad agency. And then the time came to start our own shop. And so in 2013, we started Jpixx. So we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary here in a few months. So we're really excited about that.
Wow.
Started as just a couple of us. It was my wife and I and a couple of people, freelancers and friends that we knew that were doing our thing. And now we're, almost 10 years later, we've grown to a group of 10 full-time staff. We have our own commercial office space that you can see right now. We have an amazing staff of filmmakers and producers, and we have a clientele that spans the world, and we're busy every single day of the year. So I really love what we do. I love working with people. I love just going out and doing different things and staying on top of trends and just having fun with doing what we like to do and keeping it different, keep changing it up all the time. So
Wow.
That's where we are today. And I guess I'll pass it over to Lizzie first. This is Lizzie
Go ahead.
Benkowski, who I'll let her introduce, I guess,
Go ahead,
herself.
Lizzie. Tell us what you do.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Danny. My name is Lizzie Benkowski. I'm a filmmaker and editor here at Jpixx. I started here as an intern in 2018, stayed on as a freelancer and got hired full time. So I've been here 4 years now. And it's been amazing. I attended the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, born and raised in Virginia Beach, moved to North Carolina, came right back. And when I came back and I was looking for jobs, Jpixx was one of the first places I was looking. I knew it was kind of where I wanted to land because we do a little bit of everything. Every day is different. And I love that. I get to flex a lot of different creative muscles. I get to learn something new every single day. And that's amazing. So there's photo, there's video, there's editing, there's live streaming. Like I said, every day is different and you're learning something new. So I love that. Keeps it fresh, keeps it interesting. You change it up, as John was just saying. So I absolutely love it here and I've learned a lot. And I'll pass it to Jess.
Let's go to the third member over here.
Alrighty. My name is Jess Flores. I'm an account executive and producers here at Jpixx. I've been here for about 3 years. I studied theater and film at Old Dominion University. And then from there, I started doing TV and film work. I was production coordinating over there for a long time, probably 7 years. Dipped into the freelance world for a little bit. And then I was like, I want to slow down. I'm getting married here. I still want to be in the business, but I want to do what I love and what I went to school for. And found out that Jpixx was hiring. And I applied, got the job. Been here for 3 years now, actually officially started as the office manager and then got promoted up. Definitely a lot of communicating with clients, making sure all of our, projects are on deadline and within budget and everything like that. but I love what I do and I love the people that I work with. So it's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for the introductions. And we will talk more about the communication side of things as we go. John, let me start back with you. So give us an example of how a project comes to be. A client approaches you, reaches out and says, we need help with X. Like, paint us a picture. How does this go down? How does it all start? And how does it start to flow through the Jpixx system?
Sure. So one thing I failed to mention is that Jpixx, we are a full service video agency. So we see ourselves as the capabilities of a production house, basically doing any kind of video, also photography, design. We even get into web and that kind of thing. But we also have the mindset of your typical ad agency. So we have several people here that have been doing commercial and advertising and marketing work for over 15 years. And so we have that kind of mindset. And so when we're creating content or deliverables, we're not just necessarily just spitting out whatever photo video need. We're asking those questions, and we're really pushing and consulting with our clients to kind of make sure that they're getting the best that they can get out of whatever they're looking for. So to answer your question, when we get inquiries in, it can come in via email, via phone, via someone on the street. Last night, we were out filming in downtown Norfolk, and someone handed us their business card, was like, I think I've got some work for you in at the Sandler Center. So you never know where it's going to come from. And I think the important thing is to just be timely in getting back to them. I think that's one thing that I know we've worked on over the years.
What does that mean to you? Let's just dig on that. What does timely mean? Because students need to understand, if somebody hands you an opportunity or you want an opportunity, does that mean you can wait 2 weeks, a month, 6 months to get back to them? I mean, what does timely mean to you?
I'll let you cut this if you want later, but I'm infamous for a story where when I finished college, I was on a plane, and like the photo director of USA Today apparently was next to my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law's chatting, was like, oh, my son-in-law just graduated with a photojournalism degree. This would be an amazing opportunity. You should connect. And so she got his business card and she passed it to me. And I kept that business card in my wallet for at least 6 months. And I never called the guy, never did anything. I was trying to figure out, like, what should I do? What should I say? I got to work on my portfolio. So that's the opposite of what you should do. We actually have a rule here where if we're reached out to, we really try to make sure and respond at least in 24 hours.
24 hours.
And so, even if we can't answer all the questions, we at least have to acknowledge, we know that the inquiry is out there. We're on it. We're probably going to come back with more questions, but it's really important to confirm that we have at least received that initial communication. And kind of on a side note, like even when we're talking on set and stuff, there's a phrase that Jess used a lot, and we all use it. It's just copy that. I heard that. That's kind of what that initial email or that call is like, I heard you. We're working on it. The last thing you want to do is just leave a potential client out in the dark. They don't even know if you're going to call them back.
Right. I mean, the person who gave you the card yesterday, presumably they want to hear from you, and so it's sort of like the ball's in your court to contact them. Jess, I'll go to you because I've interacted with you on that front end sort of project management. So once you get that inquiry and then when you reach out, what do you do? How do you assess what they want to do, what their budget might be, and the scope of the project? Like, where do you take it?
Usually up front, I do try to get as much information as possible, depending on what the inquiry says. Sometimes I get an email that's like, gives me all of the details that I need, and we can immediately create an estimate from there. Sometimes it's very minimal, so I have to make sure that we get the detailed information that we need in order to create the most accurate estimate possible. From there, I'll also ask, like, hey, do you guys have a budget that we need to be mindful of? And sometimes it's like, no, just show us the price that it is and we'll go from there. And then a lot of the times, like, I'll reconvene with John, or I'll even reconvene with like our creative department and make sure that everything, we've got the right crew aligned, we have like the right amount of edit hours that we need and all the deliverables that we need to do. And really, it's just communicating back and forth. You can never ask too many questions. I mean, that's just very important on both sides, client side and our side, to get all of that information to each other.
Thank you. And then, so let's say you have the project figured out, got the budget, everything's agreed upon, moving forward. Lizzie, take us through that creative side. It's like, as you said, it could be anything, right? It could be indoor, outdoor, nighttime, daytime, different environments, different equipment. Like, how do you figure out what you're going to need for the project?
Absolutely. So the first thing I do is I talk to Jess, or I talk to whoever the account executive is, with that associated client. And I ask everything you just asked, Danny. What's the situation? What's the scope? What's the expected amount of time that we are supposed to be out there filming? We don't want to be there too short of a time. We don't want to be there too long of a time. We don't want to have too many crew members. We don't want to have too few crew members, that kind of thing. From there, we'll get our crew aligned, as Jess just mentioned. And then we typically have what's called a kickoff, where the crew will meet with the account executive. We'll go over the scope. We'll go over everything I just mentioned, how long it's going to take. What's the objective of this video or this project? If it's, photo, whatever it is, what's the objective? What are we trying to accomplish? What's the ending platform? What's the ending time limit? Is it a 5-minute video? Is it a 10-minute video? Yeah. Totally different approach, right? So we make sure the whole crew is aligned. From there, the crew and I will decide, okay, what gear do we need to bring? Do we need 2 cameras? Do we need 5 cameras? Do we just need 1 camera? Do we need sound? Is there no sound? Is this outside? Do we need minimal lights? Do we need a lot of lights? That whole spectrum. We discuss all of that. We get all that gear prepped, and we go from there. We go out and shoot. We meet that client, and going back to communication, we make sure we have that client's phone number, like down to everything, every last detail. So making sure the whole team is aligned.
This is great because in our companies, in our curriculum and our other series we do on YouTube, we talk a lot about asking questions, and we talk about, is it okay to ask about something you don't know or that you want to know more about? And in your case, it's essential. If you're just going to roll into a shoot, not ask any questions and just do what you think you need to do, it could be a total waste of a day or create problems for the client, right, John? Like if you're just like, oh, we've done this before, we know what to do, and you show up not asking all those questions, it could cause lots of problems.
And it's a matter of time. Like nobody likes it when you get to on set and you're unable to do what you're supposed to, what you think you're going to do. That's a waste of time for the crew. It's a waste of time and money for the client. So making sure you have everything, making no assumptions. What Lizzie just said was fantastic, because you go in with a game plan. And the fact that you are prepared with a game plan then allows you to also, be able to adapt to whatever needs to happen. If you go in without a game plan, you don't even have the phone numbers, or you don't even have a backup person, or you don't know where to park or where to unload the gear. You get there, all of a sudden, it's very easy. You've already lost 30 minutes of the day. And now you're trying to run around and find something. And it usually tends to just kind of snowball from there. And so, having as much ahead of time, I think they always say that's the big part of production. It's all in the pre-production. It's the planning and the scheduling.
Every business, you have to ask lots of questions. You cannot make assumptions. And you have to be willing to use critical thinking to take one question into the next question, right? And like keep digging down until you get what you're looking for, and not, just taking anything for chance. So here, now we're gonna sound like it's the Tonight Show, but John, you brought a clip, didn't you, John? Can you play? Let's set up the clip as any good Tonight Show host guest would do. Set it up. You have a little short video that your team produced. Give us the backstory on it and like how it came to be a little bit, and then let's play it for the students to watch.
Sure. This is where I feel like I should be Paul Rudd and play the Mac and Me clip.
right.
It's like Conan over. No,
don't do that to me.
This is our latest capabilities reel. This is something that one of our crew, Jackson, worked really hard on for months and months and months to just pull the footage, and we went through rounds and rounds of revisions, because we just really want to, when we're talking about representing ourselves, there's just no excuse for not getting it exactly the way you want it. We're not just making a piece that talks about Jpixx. This is a sample of our work and supposed to be our best work. So you're going to see a little bit about every little aspect of work that we do. This time we kind of came about it from kind of the typical voice or questions that people may have, or potential clients may have out there in the world. And obviously we're trying to create a message that shows that all answers lead to Jpixx. So
I like that. Go ahead.
I need a creative video agency.
Do not limit yourself to others' imagination of what success could or could not be.
Welcome to the 35th annual Grand Illumination Parade here in downtown Norfolk.
Do they collaborate with other agencies?
Quality work. They gave us so much content for our brand. Our About Us video is the most impactful thing that Jpixx has done for us, and you got our vibe.
My business actually needs a new commercial for broadcast. Do you know anybody?
I need a team that can create effective training videos.
It's rewarding. It's dangerous, but it's a rewarding job.
I wanted to call you personally. We're so lucky to work with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I need someone to cover my event.
Have you heard of Jpixx?
Awesome. The bands are awesome. The food is awesome. The drinks are awesome. Everything's awesome.
He's about to tee off on this backwash. Boom, there it is.
And everyone's having a good time. It's a party.
Jpixx has just allowed me to dream and not really make me feel like the world's craziest guy in the world.
You want your project on time, on budget, and fun. Jpixx is your team.
If they're not going to give me my freedom, then I'm going to take it.
I was aware of the big impact of diabetes in our community within my own family.
All over the country, Jpixx delivers a high standard of visual communication. We're adaptable, cool under pressure, and we get the job done. Jpixx stands out with our collaboration, our communication, and our character. As a video agency with advertising and marketing experience, we have a unique ability for storytelling and connecting with audiences.
Hey, and we're probably gonna get Danny Rubin to do a testimony for us on the next. Well, we got him there.
That was great. That does show all that you can do. Jess, when you're watching that, does it run through your mind all the different projects that you've managed to try to make these videos happen?
Does.
What do
It's
you think about?
It's just every single one of them. It's so cool to see because really being an account executive, you're there from the first second that inquiry comes in all the way to the time that video or those photos are delivered. So just seeing like that little baby being born and just growing up and just seeing all the collaboration and the creativity that goes into it and all the teamwork, it's just really cool. And it happens so much. Like there's so many projects that we go through. I don't know. It just makes me really happy. We do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm really excited.
You do. Lizzie, when you were looking back through that video, is there one shoot in particular that stands out to you that was like really hard, but you pulled it off, or it was super creative? Like what comes to your mind?
Oh man, the first thing that comes to my mind, honestly, it's a pivot from your question, but the first thing that comes to my mind is my team. I have the best creative team at Jpixx by far. I love this team so much. We all work so well together. The shot that always makes me smile the biggest is the shot of Travis May. It's a documentary that we're working on. It's the one where he's on the beach and he's got his hands in the air. This is just a gentleman who has an incredible story to be told as we are working on it, as I mentioned. And that's a shoot that's just been very close to my heart, a story that's been very close to my heart. And it just goes to show, as I said earlier, how every day is different here. I mean, we might be working on a corporate branding piece one day, and then the next day we're working on this documentary about this guy's life. And it's just the gamut that we run of different projects is just so incredible. And to have the team that we have day in and day out working on those projects, it's the best. I mean, like Jess said earlier, I love what I do. I have the best job in the world. So it's awesome.
John, I help the students understand. I have the three of you are here. What are some other roles and titles on the team? What are some other jobs that are available in the world of video production that students may not even know are jobs?
Sure, I'll start with a couple, and if you guys have any more, please add.
Yeah.
I know. So in our there goes our hair light. So in our particular office, I serve as the creative director role. So I really kind of have some input on just the overall direction and the look and the feel of a lot of the shoots and the edits. But then we do have 4 people in our creative department that are called filmmakers, because really here at Jpixx, people come in and they don't really just flourish in one particular medium. So everyone does at least probably 3, 4, 5 different things, from filming to editing to sound to design to photography to writing. That's something that just gonna cough.
Editing.
There's nothing I can do. Yeah,
It's okay. It's all captured on camera.
Yeah, and live streaming. The whole gamut. And then on the client side, We have, those like Jess who are just really good with the details, with the planning. With the client contact, with all the account. I have this like bug right here.
Jess can pick it up for you.
The producer, they do all the producing. A lot of times they'll be on set as an on-set producer or a client liaison, and then all the way to billing. Jess does a lot of our billing as well. So she's right in the middle of invoices, estimates, even balancing credit card sheets. So really integral for a small business like ourselves, for everyone to have multiple hats. But even just in the last few years, we've started adding on some different roles into our company. So right now we do have a production office coordinator who's really coming in and helping with so many
production office coordinator. Good title.
We just brought in a marketing assistant. So she's coming in and really kind of bringing some consistency and really just a lot more bandwidth to our ability to market ourselves, and also because we so oftentimes give added value to our clients on that front. It provides a little bit more resource to deliver on that. And then we work with a lot of freelancers as well that kind of fill in some of the other areas, particularly script writing. Also sometimes even in art direction, if we go into 3D graphics. Then there's also makeup artists, there's lighting guys, there's we do have 3 licensed drone pilots here, but there are probably 50 different crew positions that we can potentially hire.
Wow.
What do you got? Did I miss any other roles?
Well,
I mean, I feel like in our company specifically, like we like John said earlier, we are a small company, but everyone wears many hats. But then you can go into other companies or production companies or on big shows, as they call it, where you're in your role and it's the one and only role. So you can have one person who's the costume designer, set designer, then there's hair and makeup, there's set hair and makeup, there's the grips, there's the electricians, there's the director, the art director, the second AD. Like there's so many titles. And really, I mean, sometimes you do have to start at a production assistant and work your way up. But you can, once you do that, there's so many different aspects of production that you can get yourself into. You can even go into the producer side of things and do all of that. But then, if editing's your niche, however you want to call it, there's an editors, there's people who work specifically on color grading, people who specifically work on sound design. Like
exactly.
Right. It gets really
you can
specific.
be as team as you want and however many positions as you want. It's kind of crazy.
Well, that makes sense, and it's important for students to understand small operations, large operations, and what life is like in each one. Lizzie, if a student is interested, like in high school or middle school, in this type of work, what's available? Can they shadow? Can they come around and observe a shoot? Can they help out? Can they intern? Like, what would you recommend they do?
They absolutely can. First of all, if you're not going to come to Jpixx, which you should, because you can absolutely shadow.
Might live outside of Virginia too.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're in Virginia Beach or in Hampton Roads, there are plenty of opportunities at Jpixx. Come shadow us, come talk to us for a day, come apply to be an intern. That's what I did. If you're not in Hampton Roads and can't come visit Jpixx, that's sad. But see if your high school has an AV club or a film club, photography club, anything like that. If you're a senior and starting to apply to those colleges, see if they have that major available, if you're interested in that, or if they have those clubs as well. If you know of a production company, again, if you're not in Hampton Roads, or any sort of photography studio, anything in that realm in your local area, reach out to them, say, hey, can I come shadow? Shadowing and interning, I think, is a really great way to get your feet wet. It's a great way to learn. But once you get in there, it's all about the communication, like we talked about earlier, and it's all about observation. Be present, be observing, always taking in all the information that you can, because that's where you're going to learn the most.
Yeah, I would kind of piggybacking off of Lizzie, in this business specifically, I mean, networking is just very important.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could come across the street and just meet anybody who's in the business. Oh, hey, I met this great art director the other day. And it's like, this business seems so large, but then it is such a small family where everybody knows kind of everybody, even across multiple states.
Yeah.
So networking is very important. And I also feel like what you put into it is also what you'll get out of it. So that's something to remember as well.
If I can add one thing, Danny, it's that, even when you're in school, middle school, high school, college, I think it's really important that we all these days have a lot of the tools that we need to go ahead and start grinding out and just getting the work done and just figuring out what you like, what you're good at, and practicing your craft. So, you guys have phones, you guys have cameras, you guys have computers, you can write down ideas, you can organize and schedule all you want. If you wait until a certain point in the future to start doing that, you're really going to be falling behind. So that would be one of my big tips of advice is start right now. If you like photo, video, design, you should be starting right now. You can be starting and building your portfolio.
Start putting in the hours.
Right this very second. Yeah. There's no reason to wait for anything until that moment where you're like, okay, now I'm starting my portfolio work. Start right now. You can do some amazing stuff at any age.
I love that. I love that. Well, as we wrap up, I want to thank all three of you for sharing what you do every day, how it all comes together. That showcase video, I think, helps students really see the different types of video that you produce and that can be done out there. So thank you all for the time out of your busy day. John, I'll give you one last point to make. So if somebody hands you, like a USA Today bigwig hands you a business card on an airplane and says, contact me, what should you do?
You'll be hearing from me before the end of the day. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you.
That's right. You'll hear from me very soon, and that email goes out, and then opportunities come from there. That's right. So a lot of good lessons in here, a lot of good insight about the job. So thank you all very much, and keep doing awesome work. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Danny.
you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.